see in South Carolina.
Mhm.
I guess if I were in South Carolina, I'd probably want to see a horse. I'd probably want to see somebody riding the horse. And that's one thing. That's separately, I'd want to see like a good barbecue joint.
Yeah, I just want to see one, see what it looks like.
Won't go in. I just want to see it.
Yeah, there's no need to go. Just so long as it's there, everybody's happy.
I want to take in the vibe of it. The aromas of barbecue.
Nothing more.
There are often good rubs used in barbecue. I feel like Phil would really like those.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, Vil would love the sauces. Vil would love the rubs. I don't think.
Wait, how would Bill feel about barbecue, actually? Wouldn't she be anti-barbecue?
Tell me.
So
tell me why Vil. Wait. Vil would be anti-barbecue because
they're killing animals. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Aren't
sounds
you
right.
pro animals?
Definitely pro animals, but Vil also.
I feel like
hunts.
Yeah, I feel like Vil would be use as long as they're using every part, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I think Vil appreciates a good meal that nature has provided.
I think it's about respect. Like
Caribou.
she goes hunting,
Okay,
but it's in a very respectful way. I think if you told her about factory farms, very anti.
That we can have a whole campaign in which the Knights of Prospect wander the countryside, destroying factory farms. But actually, hey, speaking of campaigns, welcome to Knights of Prospect, everybody. We are so happy to have you here. If you are listening to my voice live, that means you are watching right here on 2MB Studios on Twitch. So we are here on 2MB Studios every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, you may be listening to this weeks or months after the fact on our YouTube channel. Just go into YouTube and search Knights of Prospect, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are in both places. So anyway, that's what we are all about here. We are an amazing live play, virtually all improvised podcast / actual play using the Powered by the Apocalypse system. We'll explain all that in a minute. Also, I realize I very rarely do the opening. I just started talking out of pure enthusiasm.
That was awesome, John.
That was wonderful.
I'm on board.
We're all so open and welcome now. Hey, everybody, that was our game master, John Serpico. Do you want to describe your duties as a wonderful game master?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. So my job as game master is to keep all of the players and their characters busy. It's my job as game master to make them to get them into situations where they have to make interesting choices that will affect the world.
Just give them lots of busy work.
Tons of busy work.
Oh, we're busy.
You know, we're going to put a video on in class, and you can watch that and draw circles. But no, it's my job to just make sure that everybody stays busy, is doing interesting things, and those interesting things affect the world. Also, every so often, I ask them to roll dice. And actually, as I explain the dice, if anyone wants to do a dice check and show the audience what dice they're using, that's awesome.
Oh, actually.
So this is a Powered by the Apocalypse system, very similar to Monster of the Week for fans of Little League that are joining us. The way it works is every time there is something that is uncertain, the outcome is uncertain, I'm going to ask the players to roll 2d6 dice. On a 10 or higher, it means the thing they want to have happened has happened. On a 7 to 9, they get a little bit of what they want, or they have to make a tough choice. And on a 6 or less, they don't get what they want, but something interesting happens instead. So it doesn't matter what the numbers show on the dice, something very interesting and usually important will happen. The other thing I do as a GM is I get to summarize where we are in the world. And all of the characters, when they introduce themselves, are going to talk about kind of where they're at and what's going on. But I, right now, as GM, am going to summarize every single thing you need to know about this world. So, so here's how it is. You are looking at 4 members of the Knights of Prospect. They are an incredibly old, incredibly powerful band of knights and do-gooders that travel around the Riverlands, which is an ancient part of the world, doing good, righting wrongs, solving problems both big and small. They have recently saved their home city of Tower Town from a large, terrifying monster attack and martial law, and now Tower Town is rebuilding. And so, as Tower Town's rebuilding, all of them are continuing to do good works in Tower Town and around the Riverlands generally. So that's the only summary you need to worry about. As the characters go around and introduce themselves, they're probably going to tell you what's going on in their mind right now, and that may inform this week's episode. So maybe let's start with Sumit. Sumit, what character are you playing, and what are they all about?
Hey everybody, my name is Sumit. I play a character called Raz, which is short for Raspberry Snowberry. He's a cleric and a priest. A little backstory on him is he was put in a basket on a river when he was a child and raised by foster parents in a different town. He had a troubled youth for a while. He accidentally trapped his closest friend soul in a stone for a bit, and that was a little problem that was resolved by the Knights of Prospect. And
Eventually.
after decades, he was freed, and now he's roaming the countryside. I can only imagine shirtless and pantsless.
Never was one for shirts and pants.
Never was. Free spirit in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And in the last episode, I found out what the names of my real parents are, so that was cool for Vaz, and we'll see where that goes. Bill, what's going on with you?
Oh, what isn't going on? Bill is so here is the long and short of it. Bill used to be a ranger, loved being a ranger, died, sacrificed herself to save Raz, came back as the forest revenant. The forest of Imlan created a new body for Vil, and Vil has inherited the wisdom of the sacred forest of Imlan. Vil's best friend is a duck named Hobie. Hobie is not with Vil right now because Hobie is being the mayor of a distant town. And yeah, one more fun fact: in sacrificing herself to save Raz, she also saved Levin, and Levin actually now inhabits Vil's old body. So that's how Levin is, the free spirit is living life.
That's that old friend Raz was just talking about.
Yes,
that old friend is now in Vil's old body. Looks just the same as Vil, except for without the vines and tree-like features, and without the shirt and pants. Yeah, that's a lot. That's all of Vil. Maybe. Ronaldo, how are you doing?
Ronaldo's doing great. Ronaldo, he is the Ronaldo Francis Mackay IV. He's a fancy bard, as they all are. And he has a kind of a love-hate relationship with his father. There was some issues where his father might be in jail and his mother was also sentenced. And, well, he may be a bit of a fugitive right now. It's not quite clear where he is.
Spoiler, it's going to get real clear in the first 5 minutes of this episode.
Well, you don't know that. See how the dice go.
I don't even know. Why even worry about spoilers?
But he's currently on the run. I can't really say what he's been doing because it would be actually a pretty big spoiler. So that's been pretty fun. Hey, Chauncey, tell us what you're all about.
Hey, I'm Sam Hoare. I play Chauncey, who used to be a boy wizard. Oh, the feats he did as a boy wizard. Summoning giant octopi that nearly destroyed the hometown. Getting rid of that giant octopus that nearly slayed the hometown. What a magic fair. I made the board and everything. But since, of course, I've become an emissary of the militant, an angel of war, as all responsible 10-ish-year-olds do. Becoming, a little more war-based, more weapons, fun staff, all that cool stuff. And of course, accidentally picked up the wrong item and became a duke.
Whoops.
Just recently. It happened.
Oh boy, there's so much.
There really is, and that all of this represents a very nice lesson for those of you who are joining us. Is that pretty much all the decisions we make in this game are fully improvised, and I, as the GM, don't know what's going to happen, and we, as the audience, don't know what's going to happen. And usually, anytime someone makes any decision at all, it has big consequences. So
We didn't even know we were going to see Ronaldo's family tonight.
Yeah.
I did not either until about an hour ago, and I'm like, oh, I think that's what's going to happen. But
Okay.
let's. So you know what? I think we've given everyone everything they need to know. Let's get started.
Graphic.
Yeah, and here we are in a fantasy
Oh, look
world.
at
So we Ronaldo, let's summarize where you are. You and your mother Roisin have been on the run for a couple of months now. Well, really, technically, more your mom than you. As you mentioned, your mother and father were being sent to prison for your father's crimes. But then your father hired a mercenary company to intercept them as they were being transported to prison. But then you intercepted the interception. And now, long story short, your dad is in jail. And you and your mom took off on the back of a stolen griffin.
A borrowed griffin.
Borrowed griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked if I could use it, and they said sure. They didn't ask what I would use it for.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's you have like a little slip of paper.
I have the lease.
Yeah, you've got the lease. It's not just a little slip, you've got the lease on this griffin. You have found shelter, you and your mother have found shelter in a small town where you've been putting your skills, your considerable skills, to very good use.
Mm-hmm.
So, to talk about what those skills are and how you are using them, I have a question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
If someone was stealing mining equipment from local workers, how would you find them?
Well, I would probably track them quietly, openly during the day, but quietly at night. Ask around where I can, but not too much because I can't let people know where I am. More surveillance than discussion.
Indeed. So let's have you roll for that. Why don't you give me 2d6 plus wisdom plus 1, because this sounds like a good holistic approach.
Thanks. Plus wisdom plus 1, that would be 11.
Fantastic. So this, as has been the case over the last couple of months, a lot of the vigilante work you've been doing is being done at the behest of the leader of this small town that is keeping you safe.
Mm-hmm. My mysterious benefactor.
Your mysterious benefactor, so to speak. And so you heard that the small, kind of locally owned mining concern in this town has been hit with a string of thefts. And so you've done what you do best, kind of going into the darker, stranger parts of this land, asking around, kind of weighing the risks and benefits of how well known you could be versus how well known you should be. And you eventually found someone in the supply chain, a fence they're called, that takes stolen equipment or stolen anything and then sells it to someone else. Ronaldo, what's the name of this fence you found?
Sandy Mike.
So, is this a friendly conversation you're having with Sandy Mike or something else?
It's a respectful conversation. We don't like each other, but Sandy Mike and I have an arrangement, and it's been going okay.
Are you going by your own name here?
Absolutely not.
What's the name you're going by?
What am I going by? I'm gonna say, Farns.
Farns. So you meet Sandy Mike on a it's a little seaside town you're in. So you meet Sandy Mike on a hill outside of town, and he walks up to you. Well, Farns, I've gotten your invitation.
And you've got the rest of the information.
Yes, you have pulled a sufficient number of strings.
Well, it helps to pull strings when you have financial incentive, as I've been told. Now,
Quite right.
all I need to know is the location and, of course, if you have any information on their typical patterns of movement, that would be pretty helpful too.
You did not get this from me.
Of course not. I don't know who you are.
Nor I, Fonz. He hands you a rolled up sheet of paper that has the location of an abandoned mining camp, maybe 2 days outside of town. Apparently, that's the storage area for all this stolen equipment that's eventually going to be sold off to someone.
Now, Sandy Mike, I have a big question for you. Who's the ringleader? Because that's really what I'm after. We can get back this equipment, but I need to make them feel some pain.
So, you rolled an 11. I want you to describe the ringleader.
The ringleader is a local, I want to say a small town criminal who's has aspirations and a lot of talent. They are making good moves in the underground, and they are shadowy figure, don't like a lot of showmanship at all, and try to stay unseen, but not enough that people don't know who they are. They're a very mild-mannered person.
And what's their name?
Their name is Zahn Shixi.
Got it. When Sandy Mike when you and Sandy Mike connect the dots and you realize that it's Zahn, you realize that's a bit of a problem. Not because Zahn is particularly dangerous on her own. It's because she is a mover and a shaker in this growing underworld and has a remarkable amount of help in the form of well-armed, well-armored help.
Well, Sandy Mike, let's go back to your first idea. Let's go find that mining equipment and make it a scene. Make Zahn feel some pain. Because I'm not going to get to Zahn, that's for sure. But I need him to feel some pain.
Very astute. Yes. Yes. I recommend you take help. It's a dangerous journey. It's something I can't help you with. You came to me only for information. I won't have you holding anything else over my head.
I don't know who you are, Sandy Mike. I don't know anything about you or your address or the people who you usually associate it with. I would never threaten you with such things.
Sandy Mike gives you a knowing look and says, I'll see if I can secure some mercenaries for you.
I appreciate it. Before you go, send them to the location. Tell them that they're going to meet me there. I'm not going to travel with them.
Of course. And Sandy Mike leaves, and Ronaldo, you're left to stare at the waves crashing on the shore beneath this hill.
Given him a better name. Farns? Where did Farns come from?
And you ponder life's great mysteries. Let's switch. Vil, Chauncey, and Raz, the three of you, are accompanying the Strategos back to Alaka.
Ugh.
So, yes, indeed, that Strategos. The Strategos, for those of you listening at home, is a famed naval commander that helped the Knights of Prospect retake Tower Town at the cost of his famed ship, the Hunter. But over the last couple of months, as Tower Town was rebuilding, the shipwrights of Tower Town have built for him a new ship, small and fast, as a thank you to him for working with the Knights of Prospect to save Tower Town. What is the name of this fancy new ship that he has?
Corcoran.
The Corcoran. I love it. So the Corcoran is much smaller and much less impressive than the Hunter, but it's a good, fast ship, and there's enough room for the three of you. The Strategos asked for the three of you specifically. And it's interesting because all three have a lot on your mind right now. And so, Vil, for you, being at sea is not your favorite place, but the change of scenery is good. And the fact that you're going to Alaka is good, because that means you're finally going to be able to reunite with Hobie, your duck and business partner, who has been serving as the mayor of Alaka in the Strategos' absence. So
yes, I'm sure he's been doing a terrific job, but I need his help with several tasks, so it's really time for him to come home.
Yes, indeed it is. That's exciting news for you. You find yourself disliking the waves and disliking the Strategos far less than you would otherwise, because a dear friend is waiting across the waves.
Yeah, the Strategos doesn't even seem quite as full of himself out here today.
Yeah, he definitely is. A lot of barrel-chested singing on deck, a lot of slapping of shoulders, but it's more endearing than insufferable right now. Chauncey and Raz, you both have plenty on your mind as well. Raz, you are in possession of a book that has the name of your true parents, and you're starting to think about how exactly to track them down. That has been the main thing on your mind over these last several days. And Chauncey, you've got a lot on your mind because you are a duke. You are a duke of a large swath of land in another country. Here's the interesting thing. The people of your new dukedom are very well aware that you are a knight of Prospect and you have other duties. And for them, that's totally fine.
I have many duties.
You have so many. And according to the minor nobles that have been ruling the place in the centuries since Amboise has last had a duke or duchess, they're perfectly fine with you not being there. However, because you are the duke, and there is now a duke seated in the dukedom of Amboise, and you are the Duke of Amboise, that means that they occasionally need you to weigh in on important matters.
Excellent.
Which means that there is now a seneschal traveling with you, a steward of your dukedom, who's has a couple of jobs. One, to make sure you're comfortable, and two, to communicate with the people of Amboise. Now, this seneschal does this via a magical slate that they hold. And it's paired with another slate in the castle that you technically own. And every so often, someone will write a question on the slate. That question appears hundreds of miles away on your slate. And then the seneschal reads you the question, and then you must respond with some ducal proclamation. And so that's what the seneschal does. And that's what you do, is in your ducally duties. So one question I have for you, Chauncey, is what is the name of the seneschal?
Yes. Splenda.
Yep. Splenda. Vil and Raz, you have been around Splenda for a while. Raz, you and Chauncey recently came back from the dukedom of Amboise. And you've got to spend plenty of time with Splenda. So Vil and Raz, each give me a sentence about Splenda. What are they all about?
Here is my read on Splenda. Splenda seems to feel a lot of feelings, and they seem to feel them very loudly, especially about Chauncey. Splenda loves to tell Chauncey lots of nice things about Chauncey. I assume it's because Splenda is trying to impress Chauncey. I don't find Splenda particularly trustworthy, but they don't seem to take up a lot of time. So I am just fine with Splenda.
Yeah.
Splenda seems like not a religious person, but is definitely spiritual and empathetic and has a lot of love for animals. She always bends down, or they always bend down, and will pet whatever wild animal will come by. And they seem to have a lot of feelings for Chauncey from what I can tell.
Sure, yeah. Splenda is, best you could all tell, a pretty good egg.
Yes.
Though, you know, the dukedom of Amboise is part of a place called the Catavian Regency, which is There's a lot of airs up there, a lot of formal declarations and specific kinds of etiquette. And because Splenda is the seneschal to a duke, she has to do plenty of things that are that take a lot of words.
Splenda's very buoyant, like hands moving and like talking about feelings in very big ways, and doing sometimes a little dance and giving Chauncey little compliments and wearing lots of bright colors, just very like buoyantly kind of saying them.
Indeed. So yes, Splenda is the best dressed out of all of you, and kind of goes through a very specific series of rituals whenever they must talk to Chauncey. And in point of fact, you're all kind of on the deck of the Corcoran, watching as Alaka grows near after several days at sea. And Splenda runs up to the deck and says, Duke, excellent. Your people beg of your munificence once more. There is news on the slate. Vil, Raz, Strategos, a pleasure as always. I bask in your sunshine.
Splenda, please, I keep telling you, call me Duke Chauncey.
Of course, Duke, in your munificence.
Why does everyone keep saying that word? That's the fourth time somebody said munificence in front of us.
I say it only as many times as is needed to appropriately describe the vast munificence of the Duke.
I just give off a lot of munificence, Phil, so it's gonna come up sometimes.
You know what, Chauncey, of anybody, you do give off a lot of munificence, actually.
Thank you. I've been hearing that a lot lately, and I am not sick of it.
Jelly told me that munificence means something evil from the night sky.
That's different than I thought, Phil, but I still see where you're coming from.
It feels appropriate.
There
Okay,
is...
What?
Well, there's good news. I can share it with your friends, Duke, if you would like all of them to bask in the good news.
Yes, please, shower. Let's all take a shower in the munificence of this.
The harvest of the winter wheat has been very favorable, and so we have a surplus. Should that surplus be allocated to rebuilding the defensive walls around the southern village, or for a large celebration? Unless, of course, you have a third option.
I would be interested in hearing more about how my region celebrates.
However you would like.
And what was the first option again?
Walls. Important walls to defend the southern village.
Okay, defend, what have we been defending from?
Well, the exciting thing about our southern walls is they have been built so good that we don't technically defend against anything. Though they are in need of repair, and if they were not repaired, then we would of course be defending against something without the appropriate defensive walls.
Right.
Chauncey, if I may give you some advice, there's
please.
better defense than a spirit of optimism.
Are
Chauncey,
you saying...
let me give you some advice. There is better defense than defending yourself.
These
From
both sound...
fear with optimism.
Uh-huh.
Or with a weapon, such as a sword or arrow.
Yep.
Or positivity. A weapon like a healthy spirit.
Or a large weapon, like a catapult.
Or a large weapon like the word of Enteresh.
That sounds right too. My friends have gave me excellent advice. Thank you both in helping me. I don't want people to think of me as a small, insignificant duke. I want to be very dukey for my people. I believe that through the wisdom of my fellow Knights of Prospect, that we should use half of it to somewhat patch up the wall, and the other half to throw a decent celebration that's bolstering defenses. And
Chauncey, if I may give another piece of advice.
oh, please.
Please don't make half measures, for they fail in both regards. Full measures only.
Vil,
I agree with that one. Yes, no, I am on Raz's side of that.
Well, the thing you learn when you instantly become a duke is that everyone can't be right all of the time. So I estimate that you two were right a second ago when you told me what to do, but this time I want to follow through with what I said. Half for the wall and half for a celebration. Now, of course, most of my energy shall be directed towards figuring out the celebration, as I will leave the wall to the experts.
Of course. I will allocate the funds appropriately. Expertly done, Duke.
Ah!
And Splenda runs off to pen a missive.
Farewell, Splenda.
And yeah, with that, you realize, Chauncey, maybe being a duke ain't that hard. You know, it's the decision's sitting well with you.
Raz, Phil, come over a sec.
Yes.
I don't want to look pompous in front of anyone, but I just really feel like I'm nailing this right now. And I
Chauncey,
wanted to celebrate with you. Yeah.
I have two things to tell you. Number one is, standing next to the Strategos, you could never look pompous.
Thank
And
you
the
so much.
second is that while I do not agree with half of the decision you make, I do appreciate the confidence you had while making it.
Excellent. I hope that is the opinion of the people I am helping as well.
Chauncey, I also
Maybe.
have two things to tell you.
Excellent.
First, since everyone thinks you are the Duke, therefore you are the Duke.
Right.
No matter what you do and say is coming from a Duke, and so you are making the right decision. Second,
Wow.
I agree with every decision you made. Well done.
Yes. Yes. Oh. Wise beyond my years. And it's
And-
correct because I'm the Duke saying it.
And with Spirits High, the Corcoran sails into the harbor of Alaka. There is a great tumult as this ship arrives, because the Strategos is standing at its prow, waving to the people of his town. Though technically at the moment it's not his town, it is Hobie's town. But yes, the Strategos, all of his followers that joined you in the retaking of Tower Town, they're all coming home. So this is a very big, exciting homecoming. It is very nice because the ship, the Hunter, cuts a very distinctive figure, kind of a distinctive silhouette. The Corcoran, no one knows what it is, so it takes a moment for the entire town to realize that their mayor is returning. But after that moment, everybody kind of sprints out of their homes and businesses and in from the fields, and there are hundreds of people along the dock cheering, not just the Strategos, but all of you as well. A gangplank is lowered down, and the Strategos, disembarks first, followed by all of you, and the crowd kind of splits as the Strategos proudly walks to the town center, and standing in the town center, wearing a sash of office, is Hobie. Hobie and the Strategos lock eyes, make meaningful eye contact. The Strategos takes a knee, whispers something in Hobie's ear, and Hobie, listening contemplatively, after a moment says, "Right." And then Hobie spots you, and sprints to you, quacking and flapping, and dives up into a big, large, feathery duck hug.
Hello, Mayor Hobie.
Quack.
Excellent to see you again, sir. Now look, don't get emotional. We are in public and you are a man of office. But I am here to ask, even though I'm sure you have gotten quite accustomed to the lavish life that a mayor of this stature offers, will you be my partner again?
About halfway through that ask, Hobie, with his beak, began pulling his sack off
Aww.
and handing it back to the Strategos, who sidled up at this moment.
Excellent. I'll tell you all about it later.
Yes, indeed. There will be many stories to be shared. Hobie obviously says hello to Raz and Chauncey as well, and there is a fine and good reunion.
Hobie,
reunion on the shore.
Hobie, I am also a person holding high office now. We could talk about it together.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm a duke. Now, Hobie, I know two people of our stature perhaps would be out of place doing so, but I'm so excited to see you. Can we do that? Would we be able to do our dance? Just, excellent. Raz, some music?
Some music? Sure.
I'm just so excited.
Yes, Raz, some music, please.
I can whistle.
That's amazing music.
Quack.
It's been so long.
Quack. Quack. And a dance of reunion is done. Ronaldo, at roughly this moment along the timeline, where are you? I'm going to give you two options: heading towards the mine, or spending a few minutes with your mother, Rasheen.
Spending with Rasheen.
So you are sitting in the small. It's not a hovel. It's a very just a one room house that has been given you by the leader of this small town you're in. So you can kind of lay low, gather yourself. And you kind of come in after your meeting with Sandy Mike, and your mother has prepared bowls of broth for each of you, and you sit down at the table. And what's interesting is when you were the scion of the Mackay family, and you sat in the great mansion of your home in Tower Town, you had so many tables. Every room had a table. Mm-hmm. Several tables, and they all had different purposes. And most of the tables weren't even called tables. They were end tables and sideboards and pastry. You had a pastry table. You had 4 pastry tables.
In the same hall.
In the same hall, because that's where you keep them. But here you have the table, and that's where you sit to eat with your mom. These past 2 months have been the most amount of time you've ever spent with her. And your mother was born into privilege, and in addition to being in privilege, she married into greater privilege, and there was privilege on top of privilege. And the big surprise here is that your mom is made of sterner stuff than you might have imagined. Like, she is smart and kind of does the dance that nobility does, and can work her way through conversations, has always been a shrewd negotiator. But the fact of the matter is, she has now one change of clothes, and has taught herself how to cook, how to budget, how to spend, how to shop, how to be unobtrusive, like in public, how to negotiate the prices of things. Does she have a job in this town?
She does not. In fact, she's been mostly doing a lot of. Well, she's like, I want to say rather, she doesn't have an official job, but she has been selling crafts. She's been like picking up certain like repairs of things, and because she always was a knitter because it was a hobby, but now she realized she can do things with it that weren't just make macrame and various useless trinkets.
Yeah, it used to be a thing where she and some of the other highborn of Tower Town would sit and ostensibly
Make
do
a completely
crafts,
unfunctional hat. That they would all
make
be
an
pretty happy
unfunctional
with.
hat. Yeah, and then talk and trade in secrets and all that. But here she's doing engraving work and knitting, and she has an income. And anyway, the two of you sit down, and she has a general idea of what you do now.
It's good broth today. I really, really appreciate the addition of onions today.
Well, the onions were good. I'm going to put them in the broth.
Well, of course, yes. How was your day? Was it a good day, Mother?
She points to a. She's been doing engraving work with a hot needle on a sign for a local business.
Wow,
About
you are
halfway
getting
done.
Quite fancy. It's almost like old times. That would be in, I don't know, some banquet hall, I assume, right? It would just say dessert. And no one would know why it was there. It wouldn't even be the room where the pastry tables are. It's very gauche, but we loved it.
Do you miss it?
Kind of. Just a little bit. It was a little easier. Everything I have feels earned now. But everything was easier before.
So which is better, do you think?
Probably this. At least this doesn't make me feel like a fake.
You were born into it.
I know. But, I mean, I was born into it and spent most of my time in a library reading about heroes who weren't. And I felt the reason I joined the Knights of Prospect at all was because I wanted to be like them and do the right thing. And it took a lot of my friends to kind of make me realize I was used to doing nothing. So at least now it's hard, but it's earned. And I'm helping people, I think.
You jumped off the tallest building on the continent with a sword in your hand.
I had a very loud voice at that time. It was quite cool.
Son, I had agreed with your father that this whole knight's ordeal was not a good idea. I'm a big enough person to admit when I change my mind. You weren't doing these things. Even if you started doing these things to be like the people you read about, I think you're doing them for a different reason now. I think you see that there's value in calluses on your hands, especially in the name of something important.
It was amazing how quickly I grew tired of watching people with less suffer for no reason.
She gets up from the table and hugs you. Not like a formal hug, like that you learned how to do, but she hugs you and she holds onto you for a few seconds.
Let me move the broth so you don't spill the broth. There's onions in it.
Ronaldo, I have never been prouder of you.
Thank you, Mother.
There is then a great tumult outside.
What?
Screaming, cheering. all manner of stuff. People are running to the docks.
Should I go check what that is, or
If you wouldn't mind, I'll keep the broth warm.
it's fine. I'll be discreet. I'll be back in no time at all. And I head out.
You do. The benefactor that has been keeping you safe here and keeping you anonymous, you see standing in the town hall, the town square. Greeting.
I make sure to keep a low profile and out of sight as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. And you do. And so you watch at a distance all of this happen. Hundreds of people showing up. Your benefactor that's been keeping you safe standing in the town, greeting a man wearing shiny armor. And then you see Vil and Raz and Chauncey walk up behind.
This isn't good.
Well, Hobie couldn't keep you safe and secret forever, it seems.
Well, I kind of duck back, noticing what's happening, and head back to my mother. Try and stay out of sight.
Mm-hmm. Anything we should worry about out there?
The Strategos is back. Oh, did you meet the Strategos? I don't know if you ever met him. He's a very flamboyant, boisterous man. You'd love him, if I'm honest. He's exactly your type of person.
You were too young to remember it.
Oh, so you do know him?
He came to the house, a party,
Is this
solstice party, maybe 16 years ago now.
Mother, you better not be telling me something gross.
No.
Okay, I know him, and I know you, and I know our father stinks, so I'm just making it clear.
The more we talk about it, the more I think I need you to roll some dice.
I don't know what the good outcome is.
2d6 on a 10 or higher. On a 10 or higher, you choose the outcome. On a 6 or less, I choose the outcome. On a 7 to 9, the audience chooses the outcome.
It doesn't matter because 4.
Your mother and the Strategos have apparently engaged in long-running correspondence.
Mother! Please tell me. No, I don't want to know if it extends beyond letters. If it's letters, I'm okay with letters. Everyone has a crush. That's fine.
It is perfectly reasonable for the highborn from different towns to correspond via correspondence.
Mother! Eat your broth. Harlot. Well, he's a bastard. I understand why, but also I'm very uncomfortable. Not the Strategos I like. My father I don't like. I'm being clear. I'm gonna eat my broth as well. I feel uncomfortable.
Well,
Onions.
Hobie has done us a great favor. My hope is that perhaps the Strategos could continue that favor. Unless you think the arrival of your friends has changed something.
I don't know if they have to take me back. And I've carved out a little bit of a niche here, and I think I'm technically a wanted criminal there. So...
Well, I think I'm technically the wanted one.
Is harboring a fugitive a crime? And also stealing a griffin, which I still have and have been feeding very well. It's hard to hide one of those. Thank goodness for Hobie.
Yeah, let's switch back to outside. Razville, Chauncey, the three of you, a great feast is being arranged. Great big tables are being pulled out from the tavern that you originally met the Strategos in, and from the city hall and all various other buildings. It's like a stone soup type situation, but with tables. All sorts of tables. And It's sundown. There's going to be some big grand feast to welcome the Strategos back, to thank Hobie for his 2-ish months of service at this point, and really to bid farewell. They'll roll 2d6 plus wisdom.
Oh, 7.
So, a couple of things. Hobie's tenure here, you learn, once people see Hobie hanging out with you, there's a lot of people coming up and introducing themselves to you, and they've heard of you, and they've heard of Hobie and you working as a team, and the Knights of Prospect, and all of that's all of this is publicly known. And universally, every single person you speak to speaks about Hobie in nearly the same hushed awe as they do the Strategos.
Good.
In his months here, he has been level-headed.
Yes.
He's been wise.
Mm-hmm.
He has, when given a choice between multiple things, he always seemed to choose the right thing.
Correct.
And none of this, people are fawning over Hobie, but all of this is just facts to you. This is Hobie is behaving as Hobie always has, as a wise, level-headed, very bright, very observant duck.
Yes.
And so they just, they'll talk to you and talk to him, and they thank him again and again. There's a small pile of gifts growing at his webbed feet. The one thing that comes up as we love Hobie, we trust Hobie, we don't know what's going on, is that a couple of wanderers with a griffin have been essentially squatting in. There was this house that belonged to an old widower, and the old widower left the house. And long story short, there's this little house a couple of blocks from the town square, and 2 strangers now live in it. And very few people see them come or go, but there's literally a griffin in the backyard.
Yes. And let me ask you this. When you brought this to Hobie, what did he tell you to do? What action did he tell you to take?
This is one of the town officials who had lodged a complaint, hey, we think there are squatters, and also they may or may not have a griffin, or a griffin decided to show up. Hobie stared at me and made meaningful eye contact with me, and
yes,
the sense I got was that I should leave it be because there are powers beyond my understanding.
Interesting. So Hobie let you know that you should leave this be, that you should put it out of your mind, that you should forget about it, and that he had his reasons for keeping this from you. And now you bring it up again to me. Official, there are very few ways to make me angry. Hobie's trustworthy.
And I would never say anything to the contrary.
Enjoy your soup, official.
Of course. Outgoing mayor, a pleasure as always, and off they go. Raz and Chauncey, you are also vaguely aware, because this is kind of the news in town, vaguely aware that there are a couple of people that just kind of took over a house, and that apparently that was fine. The big thing, honestly, is the griffin. Chauncey, a number of people your age, 10, 11, are running up to you, because they see, a child. They don't realize right away that you are an emissary of a war angel. So they just see you as another, 10 or 11, or a duke, for that matter. So they just see you as another 10 or 11-year-old. So a lot of other kids are inviting you to see the griffin in town.
Excellent, yes. Now, I want you all to still feel like you can tell me things. However, I do want you to know, in chronological order, I have won a magic fair, and I've become an emissary of a war angel, and I'm a duke. I don't want you to see me differently, but it seems like perhaps you didn't know these things.
Okay, but do you want to see a griffin?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, it's this way. Come on. You and a number of other folks, mainly the other 10 or 11-year-olds, steal like a whole turkey. And all of you are kind of sneaking through town, slowly eating a turkey, looking for a griffin.
Hey, we're
Chauncey-
leading. Yes, Bill?
Chauncey, where are you going?
I'm off to see about
Chauncey?
a griffin.
Chauncey, you are not going to leave me here at a social occasion without any friends that I know.
Bill,
Bill, they're putting out
Bill, I'll be
name
here.
cards.
Raz, you're staying?
I'll stay.
Raz, do we have to stay?
We certainly don't have to stay.
Well, not that I don't love this wonderful feast, Strategos. Oh, it's so what? Maybe Chauncey
Let
could
me
use
tell
some
you-
supervision.
We could use a little secret that I've used many a time when I'm uncomfortable in a social situation, which is
Yes.
just say you have to go to the bathroom, and then we'll come back in a couple hours. Nobody will
Couple
notice.
hours? Raz, don't
No, who's
people
gonna-
ask if you're feeling all right when you return?
Yes, and then you say no, and then you get to go home. It works every time.
Raz, I
So
can't believe
wise.
I've never thought of that. Okay, let's do it. Can you? I'm a lady. Can you go tell the Strategos?
Yes,
That
I will
we're
go
off?
tell the Strategos that we are both searching
Yes.
for bathrooms. Yes.
And
Yes.
I am off to lead the children to a griffin.
Or maybe even Raz, that you maybe need the bathroom and that you also need the protection of someone sort of like very strong and capable, such as myself.
You don't want to be the one who has to go?
Well, just are you telling everyone?
No, just Strategos.
Just the
Just the
Strategos?
most pompous guy in the room. Nope, nobody else. Yeah.
I could announce it just right now to everyone.
Yeah, you know.
Save some
Raz-
steps. Just say, we all have to go to the bathroom.
Chauncey, can you please keep it down?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the plan. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go. I'll just tell him it's me, and you can accompany me.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, the Strategos is holding court as, like large bowls of salad are like being dropped on these tables. Ah, Raz, my friend,
Strategos.
I have reserved a very special seat for you, 2 down from me.
Indeed, Strategos. This is a luscious-looking meal and a sumptuous-looking room in which the party is taking place. I just have to take a moment. It seems that the trip on the sea hasn't settled well with my stomach, and so I would need to relieve myself for a few moments, if that's okay with you. Please don't wait for me. Go ahead. And don't call out my name if I don't want to be embarrassed, if that's okay with you. And actually, Bill, my friend, who you know, is going to accompany me just in case.
To the bathroom.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Any
have
further
a special
questions?
relationship, so Raz trusts me to keep watch and to be in close proximity in case of calamity.
Yes. No, that's those kind of calamities are the absolute worst. Yes. No. By all means, we will save each of you a plate.
Strategos, you said that you saved Raz a special seat 2 down from you,
Yes.
and which seat did you save for me?
The one right next to me.
Okay, we might be a while. Thank you, Strategos.
Ah.
Yes, Raz. Here we go.
Yes. Thank you. Goodbye.
Time to
Goodbye.
go quickly.
On this way. Bye, everybody. I'm leaving.
Goodbye, Chauncey. I'll save a plate. And yeah, as a kind of hundreds of persons feast starts coming together, the 3 of you, as well as like half a dozen 10-year-olds, are like walking down like the side streets of the beautiful town of Alaka, looking for a griffin that they insist is like nesting behind like a semi-abandoned building. And
I have to say, I'm very impressed. That was an incredibly graceful social exit.
It's rare that somebody wants you in a place so badly that they're willing to forego your need to go. And it's worked many times.
You know, I should have known to place my trust in you in this instant, Raz, because you just have a way with people.
Thank you, Bill.
You can always get people to do, the right thing. You give them wisdom, you give them chance and words to say. I should
In
remember that
this
about you.
Specific moment, I feel a bit bad that we left because he did have this whole spread for us and it was a celebration, but you felt uncomfortable, so I thought we should honor that, and here we are.
Well, if you don't want to miss it, Raz, we can hurry back after we see the griffin. Is it a griffin, Chauncey?
Yes. Reports say griffin.
And so all of you, go to where this group of children kind of direct you to. And yeah, Vil, it's plain as day, because you know what it looks like when like a griffin has made a nest somewhere. Yeah, there's a house, a little kind of squat house, thatched roof. And right outside is, well, a griffin nest. Big, kind of heavy, chunky blocks of wood, a lot of scraps of cloth, all the things that like a griffin would make if they were like roosting somewhere. And yeah, sure enough, several hundred feet overhead, making slow, graceful arcs, is a griffin.
What a report. I'm sorry, you seem to be the head of this group. What was your name again?
Ella?
Ella?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. This was a perfect, very well-timed, excellent report. Now, I have somewhat of a network of information gatherers back home. I was wondering if you, with your knack for gathering information, might want to become an outward group of informants, spies.
Chauncey, 2d6 plus charisma, please.
Wonderful. Five.
Okay. So the Ella is listening to your pitch and is distracted by the movement of the shades in like the one window of this house. Ronaldo, yeah, they're talking to my child confidant. No. Yeah, you're watching all of this from about 5 feet away. The Knights of Prospect are here. You do not know why they are here.
Blow out all the
don't know if they're here to
candles.
arrest you. Oh, yeah, all right.
The lights just went out inside.
Ella, why aren't you looking at me when I'm talking to you? Ella.
We think that place is haunted. Oh. Well, those two think it's haunted. I just think there are people squatting in there.
Squatting.
Squatting.
Goodness, if Ella blows
Getting low
my
to the
secret, I'm
ground.
going to murder her.
Why do you think they might be squatting? Is there something valuable on the ground, perhaps?
Well, this is this house used to belong to my uncle's best friend, but then he left, and so it's been abandoned. But my uncle's best friend didn't have a lot of money, though he was pretty good with a flute and a fiddle. So maybe they wanted and Ella starts
Okay,
painting
Ella,
a picture of
that information is not useful to us at this time. Thank you for sharing.
Uh-huh.
Raz, did you hear that?
I did.
I thought I heard somebody whispering, kill you, kill you.
Perhaps it is ghosts then.
Well,
Could be.
us Knights of Prospect can't be made to fear anything. We should enter the house and prove it wrong.
We have conquered scarier houses, probably.
And point of
Hobie.
fact, Raz,
Yes,
as a
very reasonable.
priest, it's almost your job to investigate ghosts.
That's
Mhm.
true. Hobie, is this something we should be investigating? I know you told the officials to leave it alone. I assumed that didn't stand for us, but
Mother, it's plan B. You need to leave. You need to go to the other safe house because I don't think we can stay here. But I think I need to stay here, and I can buy time for you.
Okay, like we rehearsed.
Like we rehearsed.
She, grabs a satchel off of the ground near the hearth and
If you can drop this note off to one of the children who are in the crime organization so that Zahn finds it. I need her. I don't think I'm going to meet up with the mercenaries I was going to meet up with, but I think there's going to be chaos, and I want her to feel that. Just give this to a child who looks shady.
of course.
Thank you.
All right, I'll see you at the other safe house.
Sure.
And yeah, you all kind of walk around to the front door, and Roisin sneaks out the back window, and yep, the door flies open, and all of a sudden, Raz, Vil, and Chauncey, you see Ronaldo, who you haven't seen in several months after he flew away on a griffin.
It's a haunted house. Please leave.
Hey, Ronaldo,
Hi. Am I under arrest?
arrest? No,
What?
why?
I harboring a fugitive. I escaped with my mother, who was supposed to go to jail.
Wait,
No.
we'll worry about that later. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's incredible to see you, all of you. But, what's wrong? Why are you here? Is something wrong? I feel like something's wrong. I'm a little on edge.
You seem a little skittish, Ronaldo.
Yeah. Yes.
Is
I
there?
ha- No, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to ask if there's something we could do to help you feel less like on edge.
I just, I've been under the impression I've been hiding here, for a bit. Apparently, a giant griffin is hard to hide. But
I'm gonna lean over to Vil and ask: Are we supposed to be arresting Ronaldo?
Ronaldo,
Yes.
you've been here this whole time,
Correct. Just me.
all alone,
Mm-hmm.
for months.
Months.
We haven't known where you are.
That's true.
We've faced trials, by the way.
As have I.
You didn't think to pick up a pen.
I was concerned that helping someone escape imprisonment in the most highly dangerous penitentiary in the Riverlands would be seen as negative, and thus I trusted that we would meet when it was right. And that is, if I'm being honest, sort of the impression Hobie gave me as well. He's been helping me out. I love that duck.
And Hobie, you didn't want to mention this in any of your letters? I know. You're right. I can't blame you. I have to blame Ronaldo.
Well, that's... What? Okay.
The Strategos has been leaning in the doorway for the past couple of minutes.
Oh,
Oh no.
Excuse me, we're
Yes.
having a private conversation, Mr. Strategos. I
I
love
apologize.
I found the bathroom, Mr. Strategos, and I will be going there.
I noticed. One of the others on the town council is giving a very long speech.
Oh.
Ugh.
So you thought you'd join me and Raz in the bathroom?
Hobie let me know of the situation.
Hobie did. Hobie let you know of
Hobie,
the
ouch.
situation.
Yikes!
It was a matter of state secrets.
Hobie's a trusted
He walks
confidant.
in and closes the door.
Is there a crowd of children out front? I know one of them. I've definitely had them deliver secret notes.
Hold on. I'll go.
Thank you.
I step outside the front door and I say, "Hey! Clear out!"
Yeah, just to the four winds.
Okay, the children are gone.
Perfect.
Do
Hope-
you want me to go?
Hobie made it known to me via coded message that your friend, one of the great saviors of Tower Town, was here in my town. I was also made known that as a personal favor to Hobie, I was to maintain the bargain that Hobie kept with Ronaldo and Ronaldo alone. I have agreed to this. I've never agreed to Tower Town's specific brand of justice when it comes to this type of punishment.
And in return, I should make it clear, I've been doing several favors for both the Strategos and Hobie. A certain thieving warlord, or wannabe warlord, has been very annoyed by my presence. It's been quite fun.
That type of work takes a strong hand and a sharp mind. Two things that, Ronaldo, you have plenty of.
And also, nothing they're doing is technically illegal, but it's also very illegal, so why don't we fight fire with fire?
How about this? Just to make it seem like it's a fair exchange amongst equals. Finish the most current task that Hobie has set you upon, and I will give you the use of this house for you or anyone else you choose from now on. The town of Alaka will always be safe to you and to anyone else you choose.
Understood. Well, I do feel as though we might not even need to go finish the tasks. You see, that shady blonde fellow with the unkempt hair, he goes by Sandy Mike. He sent a bunch of mercenaries to a place where mining equipment is. I didn't give them instructions. I feel like the problem will handle itself, but I don't think any of the mining equipment will make it back.
We cut to an abandoned mining camp 2 days' ride away, as a group of mercenaries and a group of thieves and fences and illegal equipment buyers are engaged in glorious combat. The songs being sung, sabers striking clubs, arrows and crossbow bolts flying back and forth, a grand, profound display of desperate action. Roughly, but perhaps not as interesting as a dear reunion of good friends. Back to the present. Well,
So I feel like the problem's mostly solved, and your little warlord Zahn will know that it is solved, and that will be very sad for them.
well, if that's the case, he draws out a letter and hands it to you, Ronaldo.
Open now or later?
By all means, it might inform future decisions.
Opens it. Cuts it open.
To Archmage Basia and the ruling council of Tower Town, upon reflection of the evidence presented, I, Strategos of Alaka, duly appointed representative in the House of Lords of the Theocracy of Enteresh, do declare that Ronaldo Francis Mackay IV does not rise to any level of illegality in the legal transportation of himself and goods and family to my country. Should you find otherwise, you will have to answer to me, the Strategos, and the ruling council of the Theocracy. I do not wish this to be an international incident.
I'd stand up and give the Strategos a big hug. And I whisper in his ears, keep her safe.
Of course.
And thank you, a big thank you. This is the most kind thing you've ever done.
My friend, all of my friends, we have fought together at sea, we have fought together on land. I sacrificed my ship because I thought your cause was just. We are bonded, all of us. The least I can do is honor this friendship. Shall we feast?
I love a good feast and a great conversation. It's been too long since I've been able to be in public.
You know what, Ronaldo? You really are the man of the hour right now. So why don't you take the seat next to the Strategos? Two
But what
powerful people having sparkling conversation throughout the evening.
Sparkling?
And yes, I myself, well, if there's not a seat for me, I suppose I'll just take a long walk by the seaside. Please enjoy the feast.
Vil, it's really good to see you, by the way.
It's good to see you too, Ronaldo.
Let's have a not party, just on the boat home.
I think we could do with a quiet drink.
And so it was that a grand feast was had, full of speeches, full of song, full of the occasional terrifying display of the War Angel's power, full also of moments of quiet reflection as Vil and Hobie walked along the shore, well out of earshot of the party.
Raz, you're telling me Chauncey's a duke now?
Yes, a very powerful Duke of Catavia.
I am trying to balance on top of my staff on my chair.
Much to the delight of Raz, and also Ronaldo. Despite yourself, you laugh at the absurdity of this, as does the Strategos. And just for a moment, it sounds like you and the Strategos have like the same laugh.
Oh no!
We're gonna end it right there.
Yes!
So, this was a fun party episode, everybody. Happy reunions, international politics and intrigue, friends making friends old and new.
Amazing. We found you,
Hobie-
Ronaldo.
Hobie is super excited to leave a life of government administration behind and go back to adventuring and saving the world.
Finally.
That's good. I'm going to need a lot of Hobie advice, more than usual.
Yeah, here's what's interesting is
Very good,
I,
Megan.
like I'm thinking about this now. Like Chauncey, you have this brain trust of the religious figures and forest revenants and another noble and a duck that has legislative experience.
Yeah. So I can
maybe
as long as I take a piece of all of their advice, vaguely shove it together, I'm sure everything will run just fine.
that'll work out pretty good.
I feel like in many ways, Hobie really is built for governing, but his heart is in the adventure.
That's the thing. Like, maybe when Hobie retires, he'll get some good government functionary job. like a water supervisor or something, something good for the people.
Water
But that is
supervisor.
But that is years away. Hobie still needs to carve his name on the battlefield, so to speak.
I'm afraid to laugh forever now.
Yeah, it's like, is it? I mean, a lot of people laugh the same way. Yeah, you're gonna be thinking about that on the boat ride.
Yikes.
I mean, that is so good.
Yeah,
The
that's
Strategos-
funny. Oh,
After Ronaldo discovered that the Strategos is a bard and they're
Yeah.
like journeying together on the hunter, and then it's revealed his relationship with the mother, and Ronaldo hates his father now, and the Strategos steps in. Ah!
What do you even root for? There's a lot of stuff.
So much is happening.
Yep. Well, anyway, as always, plenty of stuff happening on Knights of Prospect. Thank you, audience, as always, for stopping by. If you like plenty of stuff happening, speaking of, twitch.tv/2MB Studios is a great place where stuff is happening 7 days a week. We have everything from live play role-playing games like this one, to completely fictional awesome wrestling leagues, to game shows, to comedy shows. There is something for everybody on this channel. Follow 2MB Studios on Twitter. Go ahead and subscribe to 2MB Studios on Twitch. For those of you that are big fans of Knights of Prospect, well, good news, we have a Facebook page. If you look us up there, you can find us. Our videos are posted to YouTube if you want to catch up. There are currently 43 of them leading up to this one. They're all really fun, and they are also being uploaded as podcasts in real time. So join the hundreds that have already listened wherever you get your podcasts, starting at episode 1 and going all the way up to the present. Also, if you're a big fan of learning things, and frankly, who isn't? Learning
Ooh,
is
I
the
am.
I know, right? Learning is the spice of life. You can go ahead and check out 3weeks.courses. That's the number 3 weeks.courses to learn about all of the really interesting classes that you can take that are 3 weeks long, that will teach you a new skill, give you experience with awesome stuff. There's a great poetry class. There's a great improv and role-playing class. There's a great personal finance class. All of those things are awesome. You can check them all out at 3weeks.courses. So everybody, thank you as always for joining us, and we will see you next adventure.